Welcome to the Scott Townsend Show, brought to you by Dietzo Man Productions.
With everybody and actually encouraging people to get outdoors and spend more time outdoors. It's a great stress relief. Just being in nature, sitting on a creek somewhere, listening to the water flow by is a huge stress relief. You don't even have to catch fish. So, and I feel good about that. I feel good about what we represent. I feel good about what we've done so far. And I know that we've done good work because I've had our subscribers tell us that. So I feel good about that. So that's kind of what we got going on.
Hey, this is Scott Townsend. Welcome back to the Scott Townsend Show. And today I have with me longtime friend, founder of the Castafly Outdoor Adventures YouTube channel, podcast, all-around great guy, Paul Salley. Paul, what's going on, man?
What's up, Scott?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm all about this podcasting. And I know you've been on the show before. So I just wanted to bring you back and kind of get into the weeds a little bit about podcasting. It's not all the time that I get to visit with someone about the details, the nitty-gritty about podcasting. So I thought and for those of you watching or listening, some of you out there might find this interesting. I don't know. You might have already turned me off. Who knows? But I think it'd be fun to talk about podcasting. It's such a big deal right now, especially, when you have topics in the news like Joe Rogan and Neil Young and all these artists are trying to get Joe off his podcast off Spotify. And so they're boycotting or pulling their music, whatever, which I think is totally ridiculous. That's just my opinion, but podcasting is a big deal these days. And so how's your podcast going? Since we talked, Castafly Outdoor Adventures. And before we say anything else, I encourage everyone to go out there, subscribe to the YouTube channel, become a patron through Patreon. And let's get that out of the way. Let's get the business out of the way. And
it's going good, Scott. I mean, it's growing. That's always a good thing, right? And it's growing at a pace that I enjoy. It's not too fast where you can't keep up, and I have a great following of folks that comment and like and carry on conversations.
I was checking out your last video. Let's see, I don't know if it's the last one or not, but it's the one with your kid in it who starts off the program.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good comments. 4 or 5 comments down below,
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, that's great. Yeah. I think when you and I last spoke, you were about 100 subscribers, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah, we should be hitting 500 by the end of the month, the way we're trending right now. So, I mean, you know me, I'm an analytics guy. I watch the numbers. I market the channel, of course. I market a lot of the different social media platforms out there, and I look at that stuff, So, at the end of the day, this channel is not my bread and butter. Of course, it's not. It's just for fun, and
sure.
I enjoy doing it. It's 2 passions I have, which is outdoor life and then marketing. So I get to do them both together, which is amazing. So, it's a lot of fun.
So just in case there's the rare person out there who hasn't heard what Castafly Adventures is all about, what's your channel about? What's your podcast about?
So what we do is it's a lot of, we focus a lot on fly fishing and stuff, and document all of our journeys wherever we go. And most of the time it's in the Ozarks, traveling around and dropping in at creeks and lakes and stuff. But most of the time it's me and my son or my wife. So any of my kids fish, but not all of them can go all the time. But it's typically just showcasing our journey, where we're going, our catch, or not, and then just having family time out and outdoors, and sharing that with everybody, and actually encouraging people to get outdoors and spend more time outdoors. It's a great stress relief. Just being in nature, sitting on a creek somewhere, listening to the water flow by is a huge stress relief. You don't even have to catch fish. So, and I feel good about that. I feel good about what we represent. I feel good about what we've done so far. And I know that we've done good work because I've had our subscribers tell us that. So I feel good about that. So
yeah,
that's kind of what we got going
on. And for those of you who are watching, listening, also, if you want to go to Paul's Castaflyoutdoors.com. Hey, I just got my sticker in the other day. Yay.
Nice.
I got my sticker. Catch, release, repeat. Yeah, so go out there and make yourself check out the hats, stickers, and what all you got out there? Hats, stickers,
we just
shirts.
We just put some new shirts up and some new stickers we got released. Those have been going pretty good. And yeah, we got a hat out there. We got another hat coming, which is this one. But yeah, there's a couple different shirts and hats and stickers, and that's about it.
As far as your let's talk about what's working. Since we last spoke, I guess I'll quit saying that. I've said that twice now. What's working for you? What have you either stumbled across, or it was by plan or by happy accident? What's working?
So I really wanted to grow this channel. I don't want to spend a bunch of marketing money or anything like that. Or at least keep it at low dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So originally my thought was to make sure word of mouth is just out there. So number one, making sure that I'm a part of Facebook communities or groups, and marketing myself on there. And you don't want to just come out and do that up front. You want to spend some time in that group, and understand those people who you're talking to, and who are the folks in that group that are the influencers and stuff like that really move the group. And comment, start talking with people in there, and then once you break in, start talking about what you do. Right? Don't come out and just blow them out of the water with a bunch of videos and stuff. Just build it up, and then slowly drop it in, right? Drop in a video. Hey, check out my weekend trip. It's here on my YouTube channel. And then all of a sudden, boom, everybody's checking it out. I did that on a couple different groups on Facebook, which worked out really good. I was able to partner with another group that was on there, a guy that it just happened by mistake, really. I thought he wanted a sticker for his group. And so I designed one just quickly and threw it together and said, hey, is this what you're looking for? And he said, no, sorry, man. I wanted to change the image, the photo for the group. And I said, well, here's a sticker for you. If you want to make one, let me know. And so a couple weeks later, I was making stickers for this guy. And so now I posted that on my website for people to sign up to get a free sticker with a special link from the group. And now I've got people drawn to my website, thousands of people coming to my website to get a free sticker. I didn't have any cost in it. I mean, other than me putting a page together and designing the sticker, which took me an hour. So, and the stamp. Yeah. And I'm doing stuff like that trying to get involved with other groups and just community out there, right? And that's probably the easiest way to gain subscribers and build the brand. And I think another one that I did was on Instagram, where I found 2 or 3 decent folks that had a great following of people. They test equipment, they fly fishing equipment and stuff like that, and been following them for a long time. So I just, some of these folks already have their address and stuff like that, PO box, whatever, on their Instagram account. And a couple of these did, and so I grabbed them up and I sent a thank you card, saying, hey, appreciate what you do, love your content, keep up the great work, throw in a couple stickers, mail it out. And then all of a sudden they get it, they take a picture of it, and it's on their Instagram in front of 19,000 people. So, I mean, I didn't have to do nothing.
Right. Cool.
They're just saying, they're just saying thank you. Doing a mail roll call, basically, what mail they got in. And so here it is. Boom. I got this from Castafly. Check it out. And then I think the last one I did, I had, right after that posted, I had about 15 subscribers just in a matter of a day. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen typically for me in a day.
Yeah.
And so I have to think that it came from there. So, but
that's cool, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate your help with Patreon the other day. I did some more digging and found another area that I didn't know existed on Patreon.
Right.
Was making a thank you note to the different levels, different tiers. Yep. You can either do one for all tiers, or you can do one for each individual tier. And so I started working on that this morning. Patreon, I don't know. The reason why I chose Patreon is just to give the audience for the other podcast that I'm doing, the Last of the Call High Wildcats 1982 podcast, give them a chance to subscribe on a monthly basis. They're a tight-knit group. They're fanatics about the Last of the Wildcats. I was part of the Last of the Wildcats. And so, I just wanted to give them the opportunity to help keep the ball rolling, and I've got 3 patrons so far, and I just started it earlier this week, late last week. So it's fun, and I think I'll get more, and I'm not looking for 100,000 people, I'm not looking for $100,000. I'm just
right.
Maybe a couple $200 or $300 a month would do really nice, just to keep it going. Because I'm like you, it's kind of like a hobby right now, and it's fantastic hobby. Love it so much, and I just like visiting with people. Yeah,
it gives people an opportunity, Scott, to and I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a lot of artists out there. Whether they're painters or sculpting or whatever, woodworking, and there's such a huge push for that type of want in your home, like to have something handmade. And then and people don't realize what it takes to get that stuff done, right? And it costs a little more sometimes, right? Because it is custom, it's handmade. But then you also think about the content creators that are out there that, let's just be honest, they're not getting paid. Like for me, I don't get paid from YouTube right now. I don't hit the subscriber level to get monetized.
Right.
And so what do you do for a new channel that's coming up, trying to make their path, trying to get it going? Again, not in it for the money, but it would be nice to handle some of the expense cost of some of the things that we do and put into it.
Yeah.
And so some subscribers understand that it costs money, and
Mhm.
understand what we're doing costs money. I mean, it costs money for me to put fuel in my FJ and drive 3 hours to go fishing, and
Right.
it takes 3 or 4 hours to create the video. I mean, I'm putting effort and time into it.
Is there a
'Cause
length that you try to get to? Is there a length of show that you try to stay within that you found works for you?
I like it to be 10, 12 minutes. 15 is probably the max. I've done more than that, of course, but
Yeah.
um, I think it just depends on the trip. I think it depends on the activity that's going on. And if it's busy, right? If you're actually catching a bunch of fish and doing a bunch of things, and or if it's a camping trip overnight or something like that that takes a lot more time,
Mhm.
yeah, it's going to take a little bit more lengthier video. But
Right.
um, for just your basic out on a day fishing trip, 10, 12-minute video, probably.
Yeah.
That's what's worked best for me.
What kind of software do you use to edit?
I use LumaFusion. That's the video software that I use or create with. And it works great. I've used it now for 2 years, year and a half.
Oh yeah. I use
So
Camtasia. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Sometimes it crashes on me. I think it crashes a little too often. But anyway.
I like it a lot. I haven't had any issues with LumaFusion at all.
Hmm.
And there's a couple. Well, there's a lot of resources out there, LumaFusion tutorials and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
there's guys that sell. There's guys that sell packages of predefined automation and stuff that you can just simply drag and drop into LumaFusion, which makes editing a lot easier. If you're wanting to add some kind of flair into it,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's kind of cool.
So what's not working? What have you learned since starting this? You go, well, I'm not gonna do that again, or
Well, as you know, just like any marketing, I always say this because it's true. For years growing up, I remember opening the newspaper back then before we had internet, right? And I could go to page 2 and see the same ad every day for almost all of my childhood up until my teenage years. Same spot, same placement. It was there. You knew it was going to be there.
mm-hmm.
I don't need it. I don't care about that ad. But the day you did need that ad, the day you needed that, you knew where it was, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I think about that, and I think that as long as you're planting seeds, right, and trying to make change, trying to get your content out there, I don't think there's anything bad, right?
Right.
And I don't think you can actually record the good or bad in many cases. I mean, for me, yeah, I can go on and see that I'm getting new subscribers, so that's great. But what is the cost of earning that subscriber, right?
Right. Right.
And I recently tried to figure that out. What does it cost for me to, how do I earn that subscriber? What's the cost of that? And maybe I'm breaking out the microscope too much here, but I'm interested in that. And so did my 6 hours of making a video of 30 minutes of working on my website, 30 minutes spending time posting on social media, the cost of whatever that was, right? And my monthly cost of paying for my website and everything else broken down. And let's say I earned 15 to 20 subscribers in that month. Did it pay for itself? Right? Did those subscribers pay for themselves, basically? Did I earn what I spent? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to break down.
Yeah.
I mean, if you try to look at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why at first I don't think you can look at it that way, because at first
You
you're
can't.
just playing the guitar in the coffee shop. Someday you'll be big, Taylor Swift, but right now you're just making your chops. That's kind of the way I saw it when I'm still doing it. And
Well, you're sitting there just handing out cash.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
And it's
that's
the price you pay for trying to try to grow it's a hobby, yes, but part of the hobby is trying to grow your business, your platform.
Yeah. You want to know that the money that you're spending, people like it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that you're gaining people or
Right.
traction. And I can say that the things that I have done recently, like I added a camera onto my net so that when I net a fish or release a fish, I can put the camera down underneath the water, which is really a cool feature, and see the fish swim away.
That's cool.
I've got a ton of comments on that. Guys like that. Okay, cool. So I know that one.
Mm-hmm.
And it creates different content, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different view, different look. And I have to always be thinking that way, thinking about what's next, right?
Right.
And years ago, I remember I talked to a guy, and I always enjoy our conversations, Scott, because we always go to this. We always go to these things like we've learned from people in the past, and I always appreciate that conversation with you because I don't know, it's just always good. But I had a guy tell me one time, he's like, "Hey, Paul, what do you think, for instance, Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, the theme park, why do you think they're successful year after year and have been for years?" I mean, it's a cool place, right? No, because they're always changing. They're always evolving. They're always putting change in place. They want to bring you back. They want to entice you. You've already been once, right? They won you over.
Right.
But they add some other flair to make you come back and see it again.
Check it out.
Yeah, we did this now. Check it out. And if you stop that, then you go stagnant. And you start losing interest.
Right.
So I take that when I wake up in the morning and think, all right, what do I got to do new? Right? What do I got to do to change it up? And you can make some simple changes in your video production. Like our new one I just posted on Caps Creek fishing. I don't know if you've watched it yet, but it starts kind of in slow-mo. And
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's kind of in slow-mo. It's black and white. And then it's just got some cool music behind it. And then all of a sudden we get to the creek, and then it goes from black and white to color, boom, as soon as the music changes, and it speeds back up to normal speed. And it's just like, hey, whoop. And the whole meaning behind that, to break it down behind the scenes, is that our lives are in slow motion a lot of times as we're working through all the things day to day, whatever. And the minute you get to your happy place, right, it all kicks in. The light comes on. And that was it for me. That may be too deep for a lot of people, but that's what that is what that is, right? It's an artistic look at what we're doing and who we are.
We're all artists. So let's take a break and let's check out. Here's a clip from Paul's what is it? The
Caps Creek.
Caps Creek. So
yep.
Take a look. So that's cool. Yeah, I see what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
What lessons learned so far?
I think one of the biggest things, seriously, one of the biggest mysteries for me, I don't know if not everybody might be aware of this, but YouTube and Facebook and Instagram all have like shorts that you can post. And it's kind of funny because you get 15 seconds or 60 seconds to post a quick video. It might be something funny or whatever you're trying to showcase in 60 seconds. And so I kind of got into that, trying to see what I could do, right, to throw in there. A 60-second clip is something we're doing. It is so funny, Scott, to like kind of try to understand what people are looking for in that 60 seconds. And when you create one of these, you're thinking, okay, this is going to be cool. This is going to be a good one. I'm going to get some good hits off of it. Right.
Yeah.
And then it's like, meh. What? And so, like, what the heck? And then you go back and you change something, like maybe a tag or the title of it. And 2 days later, it's 40K.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck happened? So it's stuff like that I learn and I'm trying to still learn.
So you do you use GoPros for all your cameras, or is there other cameras?
Yeah, we've got two, and I'm getting ready to do a video on this actually.
Oh, okay.
I've got two GoPros that we use day to day for all the shots, and a third one that's on the net. But yeah, we've got two chest mounts, so Connor or my wife can wear one, I can wear one, and then I can that's the cool thing. Then the latest video, probably the last two videos, has that transitional piece where it goes from one chest mount to the next. So being able to capture like Connor's fishing and my wife's fishing is going to be really cool, and especially my son, because it's so funny to watch him fish. Of course, he's still learning, but he does this cool little thing when he's fishing, and you can't reproduce it. You try to, and he does this thing. It's called water loading the line, and he's got it almost down to a science. But the last part of it, when he tries to push forward the cast, he doesn't give it enough power. But if he did, it would be awesome. So he's getting close to perfecting it. But and that's not with me like overbearing, trying to train him or anything. I just want him to be a kid.
Yeah.
And I know I've told him the basics, but I want him to figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
And he's done a pretty good job of that.
That's cool.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So it looks like you're. Go ahead.
You were at what did you ask me anyway? I can't remember. Oh, cameras, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the GoPros are awesome, but we do use our phones sometimes for some stuff, but GoPro most of the time, and we have battery packs and waterproof battery packs that we mount on our bodies, our coats or whatever, and you can basically record all day without changing batteries or anything. So
that's cool. Yeah. So what are you hearing from your tribe? What's the I know you're listening, and people are writing, emailing, commenting. What's the theme that keeps popping up on your YouTube channel? Are you on the Instagram, iTunes too, or
no?
You're just on YouTube.
Just on YouTube.
Okay.
Yep. Probably I don't really know how to answer that, Scott, other than this. The biggest thing that I'm seeing, or I guess feedback, is that there's a number of people trying to connect with the outdoors. And either they fly fished in the past and didn't have a mentor or somebody to help them along their journey, and so they put it down, or they've never tried it and they've just seen it and want to try it, but they don't know how to get into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's just say it, with any sport, there are purists out there
Yeah.
that think there's only one way to do it and you have to do it this way, and if you don't do it anymore, we're going to bash you. And okay, go for it.
Right.
I'm going to do me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that is why I've captured some of my subscribers, because look, man, there's no right or wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we there is a right way, but you can mess up and still catch a fish.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm not bashing people for anything. You do it your way, but I'll help you. And so I think I'm an open book to asking or having people ask me questions. I can answer them for them. I'm accessible, right? There is no stupid question. And I'm not going to bash them for it, right? For a silly question. So, and I've made some great connections that way. And really, at the end of the day, and I've said this a million times, that, you know, the fishing and the outdoor life is great. And the one thing that really matters at the end of the day is the relationship and the connection that you make, you know, brotherhood of guys or ladies that you're dealing with out in the world. Being able to lean on that person and say, hey, what worked good for you? Let's talk about it. Let's, you know, just spending time together on the water, out in nature, hanging out. That's cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
And having that resource and having that somebody that they can lean on for questions and stuff like that. That's what I am. I'm happy to. I don't know all the answers, of course. I'm not a pro. I just know what I know, and that's it.
Right,
but I'm happy to share. So, that's and the other cool thing is that people have expressed that they have picked up a fly rod because of our channel, and which is awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, that's, man, that's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And people that didn't ever think about fishing that creek or fishing this or that, and then they saw me do it and they're like, man, why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
I never thought about going over there.
Mm-hmm.
So they go over there and have an adventure, you know, and that's cool, man.
I think it's funny your little comments in the videos when you catch trees and get tangled up in bushes and whatnot, you know, and talking to the fish.
Yep.
It's
real.
pretty, yeah. And you know, the other thing too is your the relationships you're not establishing, but growing with your family is another huge thing.
Yeah.
You know, time spent with kids, family, wife. That's also probably a huge benefit to the whole project, which probably gives it which is probably just as good a reason for doing the project as any, you know?
Yes, totally.
I mean, if you're going to go on vacation with your wife and spend all that money, you know, might as well squeeze a little content out of it and keep on moving.
Right. Last night, my wife, we were hanging out, and she came in. I was working on something, and she came into the room, and she had her fly fishing hat on. She's like, I miss fishing. I'm like, well, let's go. And she wore that hat around forever around the house, just like, okay, what are you saying?
Yeah.
So she wants to go this weekend. I said, well, it's a little cold right now.
Yeah. Woo.
But you never know.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, the connection again, I'm not forcing my kids to go outdoors and stuff like that, but my kids are very much outdoor kids. They love to play around outside and spend time in nature. And, you know, that's one way to kind of get them out of the house and, you know, get them out, man, get them off the TV, get them off the iPad. I shot a recent one, which, I don't know, my kids, don't really realize all of it right now, but, you know, at some point in my life, I will be retired. I want to continue doing what I'm doing now with the YouTube channel and just kind of doing my thing. And maybe it won't be so fast paced. Maybe it'll be slower. I don't know. There's no plan.
Yeah.
But ultimately, when you start making content, and this is funny because a lot of times you don't know where it's going. Like you have a plan in your head, right? And then you get the content back home and you start breaking it down. You go, whoa, this went a totally different direction than I thought it would go. Right.
Right.
And sometimes I find myself talking on the camera, not realizing what I'm doing. And then it becomes a story itself, right? It becomes a talk, you know, about the situation or what we're doing or what we're dealing with. And there's one where I took my boys to a waterfall, and the waterfall doesn't flow year round. It flows only during certain times. It's a kind of a wet creek, right? It only flows when it's raining and stuff like that. And so it had rained recently, and we took an opportunity to go see this waterfall. And during the video, which was a long haul, man, my legs were sore, and but it was so cool to get out and experience that and see something that not a lot of people get to see, but actually take the time to go do that. And then at the end of the video, I made a statement that said, look, my boys suck. They're boys. They fight and bicker all the time. They beat each other up. I mean, they're crazy kids, man. They argue about everything.
Yeah.
But that day, they didn't do any of that. Right? They were outdoors. They were having fun. They were experiencing it together. And I made a statement at the end that I hope that, you know, when I'm long gone, right, that they come back to this place to reset, you know, basically come back here and remember the time they came together. And
right.
Again, that's all I'm trying to do, Scott, is create a legacy like we talked about in the last video, right? And that's what I want to leave behind. I want to create some points like that in my kids' life, so they know, you know, they think they know who I am, right? But later in life, they'll start to pull all this back and really look at it and get an overview of their dad, and they'll have that. So,
right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What of the YouTube channels that you watch, do you have a favorite?
Oh,
besides yours, besides mine?
Let me look real quick, because I have, and I won't pick a bunch. I'll just pick a couple that. There's a couple that are outside of like outdoor life, right? It's just general videos that I like to watch, and I think you'll get it. But there's one guy on here in particular. His name's Scott Townsend.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
No,
okay.
So there's a couple that I watch to help me, right, with my journey. And there's a YouTube channel called Rob HK. And he's the guy that makes a lot of videos and transitional stuff for LumaFusion, which is the video creation tool I use. That guy's awesome. Awesome tutorials, professional, just really good. I watch a lot of different outdoor channels, of course. looking at ideas, what they're doing and stuff like that. But really there's one guy on here, which it's like I said, it's not really the same kind of channel I have, but I love this kid's content. His name is Jake Frew.
Oh yeah.
F-R-E-W.
Yeah. Yeah. The kid living in the van. Oh yeah. I love that guy.
Jake, you're awesome, dude. And it's so cool too, because I mean, let's talk about this for a minute, Scott.
Yeah.
There's a big age range here, right?
Right.
And so I'm 50 years old. Okay. And for that kid, I don't know how old he is, but he's not 50, I can tell you that.
Right.
But for me to be able to see and seek out his content and be able to connect to him through his content is a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't know that, Jake, that's cool, dude. Because that means he's doing it right.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a sucker for transitions and music and stuff like that. And
right.
He just tells a dang good story, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want
He does.
I want to do more like him. You know what I mean?
Do you think you could live in a van like he did for 2-3 years?
Oh no.
Yeah, that'd be tough. That'd be tough.
I mean, if I didn't have a family,
yeah,
I could do that easily. But
yeah,
and if I was his age, right?
Right. No, I like Jake. He's great. Jake, you're great. So
You
keep
are.
it up.
Yep.
Yeah, Jake Frew. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
He is a great storyteller, and it's just him and his camera.
Yep.
And he just knows where to put it and what to say, and it's great.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
And I think those are really thought out. I mean, I really think, and that it goes back to like the whole production of everything that you do. So when you go and try to shoot a video, you try to have a plan. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going here to fish.
Mm-hmm. That's the plan.
That's the plan. And that's as simple as I make it right now. But I need to extend that into saying, okay, during this trip, I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And add this and add some commentary on this subject. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part that I'm going to be working on this year with our Castafly channel. So
say that again. You're going to be doing what?
I'll be working on adding more, just more of, I guess, creating hooks within the video. I would call them hooks because there's stop points in the video where I'm stopping to express myself in some way.
Oh yeah.
Or talk about something in general, face to face with the camera, with the audience, and then back into it. Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of that moment where you stop and say, hey, this is what I'm feeling right now. And I did some of that before, but I stopped doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So
no, you were doing a good job with that too. There's a guy, he put together, he has, his mom and dad had 8mm, super 8mm, I don't know, whatever, video or movies of home movies of their trips to Disneyland. And
right.
He put these together. He took them and put them together and did a voiceover with the images. Man, it's really good.
That's awesome.
It's borderline tearjerker, you know.
Right.
It's like the 1960s. This is back in the late 60s, early 70s, and I'll try to put a link below to that if I remember to do that. But I know exactly what you're saying, and I would agree that that's a great direction to go, because there are things that you learn. There's a lot of analogies to what you're doing and then real life with at work or at home, or thoughts from Paul as you're fishing. And I think that's
just something to maybe even something, and I've thought about this, just to finish the video with some kind of a closing statement, right? Just good or bad day, whatever. But bottom line is you release some kind of a statement about your feelings at the moment, you know?
Right.
And
lessons learned, or, just.
Right. And it can be totally unrelated to the video. It could just be, but I think that's stuff that I'm trying to work on now in my head about how that looks and works. And again, it challenges me to get better, right?
Yeah. So no, and mall marketing is just basically storytelling and trying to get everybody else to, follow the story,
Right, exactly.
So that's what I'm trying to do with this channel. And I've been so consumed with the last of the Call Wildcats podcast that I've neglected the Scott Townsend Show podcast. And so
it's been amazing. I mean, what you've done there, putting all that together, it's been a lot of work. I mean, I didn't realize it until I saw the whole list of videos that you did, right? I just kept seeing them, and I didn't really calculate how many were in my head. And then I saw the whole list the other day. I was like, what the gosh, a lot of these, man, which is super cool, man. It is.
Yeah.
And I'll raise my hand. I haven't watched them all. I haven't. But I have watched a few of them, and they're really cool, man. They really are.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And I think people, other classmates and stuff like that, I'm sure, dude, they appreciate.
Yeah. So many of them have told me that I should try to figure out how to bottle that and sell it, to other senior classes or whatnot.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll see how that goes. But well, so I mean, any last looks like you're going to start telling more stories, voiceovers on your podcast. Anything new on Patreon or monetization, or have you what's the affiliate marketing? Have you done any affiliate work yet with Amazon or anybody, or
no
fishing companies?
No, not yet. I'm working with a couple local guys. And all we've done is just shared each other's basically links. There's a fly fishing guy that ties flies and stuff like that locally. And I use all of his flies most of the time, and use a lot of them in my videos. And so I try to promote him. He's a local guy. I put him on my front page of my website, shared the link,
cool.
And then he did the same on his website. So
cool.
That kind of a thing. And then, and then I got the guy that built my rods originally, the one for Connor and the one for me. Our fly rods got built by Hidden River Rods. It's a buddy of mine. So we share his information on there as well. But that's only really what we've done. I mean, we haven't done anything else really big time. So, and I'm not really looking at that.
Yeah,
I know that's a big draw for a lot of people. I don't want this to turn into me like having people send me gear to check out and make videos on the gear and unboxing, and I'm not doing that. So you can send me gear if you want. I'll use it. But I'm
no one's
not
gonna know it though.
I mean, there's just so much of that out there right now, and that's not really what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And for some people that's okay, and that's perfectly fine. But that's not what I want to do.
Right.
It's just not. So if it works, it works, and I'll use it.
Yeah. Well, I think we'll end it there. If you want more information on Paul Salley and the Castafly Outdoor Adventures, go to castaflyoutdoors.com. You can get your sticker. Go get your sticker. Hey, mine wasn't free. I paid for that, baby. But I'm also a patron. I'm a card carrying, cash donating fool where Castafly is concerned. And so go support Paul. Go watch the channel, subscribe, like, share. especially those of you who are in fly fishing or fishing in general. I think you'll really enjoy it. And even if you're not, it's scenic, it's beautiful scenery, and Paul's fun. The kids are funnier, and your wife, I mean, it's just a family affair out on the river. So
yep.
Go check Paul out and let us know what you think. I mean, leave a comment down below in the show notes or his show notes. And so Paul, why don't you come back, and we'll another month or so, we'll see how it's going. See, we need to talk when you've hit 500.
Yeah, we'll be doing a big giveaway when we hit 500. So I'm working on that now. Like I said, we're subscribers are trending really good right now. So like I said, the end of February, we should be hitting 500. And so I'm really trying to work hard to kind of put this giveaway together. So a little spoiler there is a giveaway coming.
All right. So, where do you go to find out? Oh, you're on Instagram too. You're on Instagram, you're on Facebook,
yep.
All under Castafly Outdoor.
Yep.
So yeah. I'm sure you'll be sharing all that giveaway information on your social media channels.
I will.
Cool. All right, Paul. Well, man, stay warm. It's cold out there.
I know.
Lots of snow.
Thank you, Scott, for all you do, man.
All right, man. I appreciate your time. So for Paul Salley, this is Scott Townsend. Thanks for watching, listening to the Scott Townsend Show. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you later.
The Scott Townsend Show is a Deetso Man production. For more episodes, visit the Scott Townsend Show YouTube channel, listen on Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.